Plebs, and welcome to Genre Friction, a podcast where two women are going to go extremely woke on you. I don't know. I haven't come up with we need to come up with a tagline. I was like, I'll figure it out when I do it. We'll come up with a tagline. But yes, hello everybody. This is a brand new bi-weekly podcast that both of us, myself and Spotted Giraffe, who will introduce herself in just a second, but you may know her if you followed me for any length of time. We're very close friends. We're going to talk about science fiction in a broad sense. We're going to each in every episode pick a TV show or movie or general topic or a few episodes of a TV show and really dig into some of the themes, the deeper ideas, the deeper topics of each of those things. This is not going to be the show where we're going to do a scene by scene breakdown of every episode. If you want that, Giraffe's got her other podcast, Strange New Pod, and you got my really long, nerdy reviews that are way too over long. So those are there for you. But this is going to be a podcast where Giraffe and I can finally put our conversations that we rant at each other all the damn time and monetize it for your enjoyment.
We're gonna be your problem now. We
Yes.
want we've been the problem in many parties where we just tell me about pluribus. What do you think? And people are just like, what are you talking about? So
And then
now we're doing that on the internet.
yes, yeah, it's like we start like having deep conversations about imperialism and colonialism and like the nature of time and how different cultures view time. And people are just like, I just want to have like some cheese over
We
here.
also talk about how hot people are on
I
shows.
mean,
We're
yeah.
like multifaceted women.
Though I mean, those are of equal importance, I would
True.
think. Yeah, exactly. Like colonialism, how hot people are. I think those are weighted equally. I say as a very white person. But yes, for since this is gonna go up on my YouTube channel as well, Giraffe, why don't you introduce yourself for people who don't know you?
Hi, I'm Giraffe. As you can hear, I happen to be French sometimes.
Eh, I hadn't caught it.
And I'm one of the hosts of Strange New Pod. It's a Star Trek podcast. I'm mainly a Trekkie, but I watch
No, no.
insane number of hours of TV. So I'm also an educator. So
Mhm.
my job is literally talking at a bunch of people who don't want to be here and trying to make stories interesting. And I do
And
succeed. I do
I
succeed.
think you
Yeah,
succeed
yeah,
rather
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Either that or you're just like my specific niche, and I find you very interesting and no one
I
else
am
does.
I
But yeah.
am very niche. And my
Yeah.
students have learned how to make me go on side quests during the lessons and I ask me, have you watched that show? And I'm like, yes.
For
So I'm also a cosplayer and I most probably have come to some of your convention near you.
yeah.
Yeah, I do many things. I love fandom. I learned that word, fanthropologist, and I think it is great.
Oh, I love that word.
I used to be an archaeologist, so I love anthropology, right? And
I
language. And
love that word so much.
anthropology is what I do. I love fans, I love
Yeah.
fandom, I like talking about fandom. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
to be in fandoms. Yeah.
So like the short version is you're much cooler than me.
I mean, I'm black, so
I mean, yeah, that kind of comes with the territory. I mean, I'm kind of like if you've seen A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, right? Already the first
yes, I
episode.
have.
I'm like Dunk who like goes on to the dance floor just awkwardly dancing. That's
I
me.
have seen you dance, so
And that is about I was like I see myself. I see myself.
we are gonna open many files that have been buried until now on this
Oh yeah.
podcast, I
Oh yeah.
feel.
No, I feel like I mean to be fair, if my other podcast that I do, Practice Podcast with Vera, that podcast is basically Vera and I like hitting on each other half the time. And then the other half of the time me telling her that she's wrong about things. So I feel like that'll also be what this podcast evolves into at some point.
Let's go. I love that energy.
So yes. How are you doing? So we're gonna start off our podcast every week with just a little bit of like how are we doing? How's life? How's things?
I mean, 2026, the horror persists and so do I. So
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm trying to put good out there in the world
Yeah. I've
as
I
much
had
as
the
I can.
I had the same thing where it was like I was like at the end of last year I was like extremely burnt out. And then I had Christmas break and I felt like, okay, I'm healing, I'm finding myself again. I had to relax. And you know what? I'm gonna go into next year with like good energy and just take care of myself and have positive energy. And then immediately the world just kept fucking going. It
The
just
one when
kept
like, no.
you will not feel good. Burn out and feel shitty about everything. So I'm trying still, like I'm doing my best to like try to hold on to like the good, like a healthy version of myself. And I think I'm doing all right. I've gone back to the gym. I'm getting swole
Ooh,
again.
look at
Yeah,
that.
right. Look at that.
Damn.
That's new.
That's
That's
your
new for
mind.
me.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a blob.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting my fascist punching arm. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting.
yeah.
Yeah. Getting ready to punch ice in the face when I need to.
But I feel like, especially being creatives, it's something we don't do, you know? I never
Mhm.
stop. I take break from my job that pays me,
Mhm.
but it's to do the job that doesn't pay me,
Which is this
which
essentially.
is this. And I don't know how many hours of podcasts I've recorded just in January because I took 2 months off anything fandom, and
Hmm.
everybody was in my email. What are you? What are you doing?
Oh, I'm same thing because Starfleet Academy's on now, so I'm like
Mhm.
and I say this with love because I enjoy doing it, but it's like all right, like literally this weekend I'm on like 3 podcasts, so I'm like all right, it's fine. I just won't have a life for the rest of this month
You want to
until
come
stuff
on,
hits.
friend?
I mean, I'll come on straight. Yes, please. I'll do it. I just there is a point where you're just like, please let it just be, let it me be on another episode because I've talked about episode 4 like 10 times at this point. So, and speaking of, that's what we're going to be talking about this week. But before we get to that, before we get to the main topic of the show, we're going to have every single episode, short little news segment, just because I have always wanted to talk about I have a need to talk about a lot of things, but I don't want to make whole videos about each one. So this is like a good spot where I think we can like talk about different news items that we have come up and kind of, discuss it a little bit. You have two, I have one today. So why don't we start with one of yours and then we'll jump to mine.
So, first of all, I saw a trailer coming out
Hmm.
in the ether for the new season of All Mankind.
Yes, season
People
5.
very excited about it.
They
Very
are.
excited.
Yeah, and I'm a little angry about it because I was here first. I was way back on season 1. I they sent me I think in season 3 they sent me like one of those premiere packages. I still have like a For All Mankind hoodie. So like I was there. I was in the trenches.
I'm
Wish I had a
waiting for my
comfortable hoodie.
Starfleet Academy package. I'm like, you guys, I have done so many hours.
They don't have the hoodies of it, like that they wear in the show, which is like with the red, blue and yellow like rings on their arm. They don't sell that on the store. I'm like, why the fuck not? I would buy that one instantly. It's all like generic Starfleet Academy stuff, which like whatever. I don't want that. I want the hoodie.
You know why?
Yeah. Oh, I
The
know.
last care package I got from Star Trek was Lower Decks, and they
Hmm.
had like those epic. I know people are gonna come at me, but listen, those cookies were amazing. Those oatmeal
They
raisin
were really
cookies,
good.
they were so good. And I
Yes.
feel this is one thing I also talk at parties about like every single time. I think last time I was at a party at your house, I was like, those cookies, I need to know where did they found them? But yeah,
Yeah, I love a good cookie. Yeah, Lower Decks had good because Lower Decks just sent alcohol. Lower Decks
true.
just sent like little
Picard's and
tequila.
alcohol too.
Yeah, I never got Picard ones. They didn't send
No,
me.
me neither.
Yeah, I
They
got
didn't
Lower
like
Decks
me.
ones. Yeah, yeah. It was like we for listeners, we both do like press stuff. We sometimes get like little packages for premieres and stuff. That every TV show kind of does that. And Lower Decks always sent like little tequila bottles. We like Star Trek branded tequila bottles. My favorite was when they gave. I think it was for season 3. They gave that Jem'Hadar like Ketracel Red Hot or
Oh
whatever it
yeah,
was.
I have it.
Yeah,
I
I
see
still
it
have it.
right in front of me, just
Yeah,
there,
I have it
just
downstairs.
there.
So yeah, I'm excited for All Mankind season 5. My big problem with it is it's for the listeners who don't know, it's a alternative history show by Ronald D. Moore of Star Trek Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Battlestar Galactica fame. He's the showrunner. and it's an alternate history where the Russians got to the moon first, and it kind of spurns on the space race to keep going long past it did in our actual history. That inspires, like, kind of basically is like a prequel, not directly, but like kind of a pseudo prequel to Star Trek, in that it like inspires a better version of going to space. But my big problem with the show, I liked seasons 1 through 3. I actually thought it had a lot of really cool women characters and women
Yeah.
astronauts throughout the show. I thought it was really great until season 3. And then season 4, they kind of do low key like Elon Musk capitalism propaganda, where it's like the Elon Musk comp in the show is an asshole, but it's like somewhat like they do the whole like he's a jerk, but like capitalism is like necessary and we'll get rid of it. Like that kind of Elon Musk propaganda of like, we'll get rid of capitalism once I'm the great man who lifted us up and went to Mars. You know what I mean? I'm like, bleh, bleh. And a lot of the women characters are sidelined in that season. So I'm hoping season 5 is better. But yeah, season 4, I was
So
like,
even
fuck
the
this.
alternate universe suck.
Yeah, they have a whole storyline. Minor spoiler for season 4. They have the whole like
I've not watched
unionization.
it, so go ahead.
They have a whole unionization storyline where people go on strike, and they ultimately have to. They ultimately don't win their strike because they have to like band together to like stop a thing from happening. And like the it's like the billionaires like, let's work together to like do better, to like do this thing. It's more important. And I'm like, bleh,
The
bleh.
French is me is very offended.
Yeah,
I
I
have to say
dislike it.
that.
I
Very
dislike it.
offending.
Yeah, upsetting because the first 3 seasons are great. But except for they make. I also have issues with season. There's some problems in season 3 too. They have a lesbian character become president, but she's a Republican lesbian president. It's a whole thing. Better progress. I thought.
Would that be the craziest thing you've seen?
I mean, no, no, no. All right, my news story is speaking to Deadline, director Peter Hoare, I think is how you say his name, Hoar, not the other one.
Hooray!
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 Peter Hoare, he is a director who's directed a bunch of Doctor Who episodes, both in the Matt Smith era and now in the Disney Plus era. And he's directed a few other TV shows. He's currently working on a revival of the sci-fi show Blake Seven. He was speaking about the Disney Plus era of Doctor Who, and he said, I don't think, quote, I don't think anybody would doubt the skills at the front line of the show, but something went wrong. I think there were lots of areas you could point fingers at, but ultimately it wasn't a better show with more money. And that's a good thing because we haven't got the money anymore. Nobody has. Which, yeah, which like speaks to the like era that we're going into right now of like nobody has any money, nobody has anything. And I'm actually kind of like, I'm not happy for the industry element of it, but I do really miss that era of like back in like Star Trek, like earlier Star Trek times, where not everything needed to be like high spectacle all the time. I
I
actually think
agree.
it looks kind of worse in a lot of ways, but like where like you had to do a lot more theatrical stuff rather than like big bombastic like action stuff that a
Hmm.
lot of like Doctor Who kind of did in Disney Plus era, even Star Trek, as much as I've liked this
But you
era.
you you'd get 24 episodes.
Yeah, you get 24 episodes because it's like fucking Shakespearean character actors in front of like a like one set that they built.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
No.
I miss that. Yeah.
And I don't know, like the oh, there's too much money, so that was a problem, and like I don't know. I'm on the fence about this because also more money means more people get paid. I don't know.
I mean, but people get paid. I mean, like, yes, and I think there is like I think there are shows that do use the money well, like something like Star Wars Andor does, or it looks like Severance
Mhm.
does, where like you can clearly see everyone's like getting the money that they deserve. But then there's shows where and like he even says it in this quote is like, I don't doubt the skills at the front line of the show.
Mhm.
But I do think that like there is something where people end up like relying more on technology, like the VR wall that like Star Wars, Star Trek, and I think Doctor Who even used it as well. And I
Yeah.
think that looks bad, and it like it's cool technology, and I'm not saying that it doesn't have a use. Like there are good places to use that technology, but it's like I saw a video of people using it for like a kitchen. Whereas like they had like the kitchen island, but then the rest of the kitchen was like the VR wall, And I'm like, why not just film it in a fucking kitchen? Like, I
Because
don't.
then you don't have to pay for all the guys that make the set,
I
all the guys who
know.
take down the set, all the accessorists, all the people that will
Mhm.
like bring or everything that you need to put everything like source the doors
Yeah,
and
so
all
less people
this.
get paid. It costs more, less people get paid, and it looks shittier. But we
Yeah,
look high tech. So I'm like, yeah, I want to go back to the era of like really clever set design. And we'll talk about this in Starfleet Academy. I think like there are still stows doing like the set design in Starfleet
set design
Academy
is
is
incredible.
mwah,
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
great. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah.
And
You have one
to
more.
go back, like I don't think that was Doctor Who bad. Were people mad about it? I mean, I didn't like the finale, but I
Doc,
was
I
not
mean,
mad at the
I
season
think
before that.
I think most people like the finale has kind of clouded a lot of people's minds. I think series one of Shurigatwa's era was pretty solid. It had some like Dot and Bubble was great.
That in Bowl was amazing.
Yeah, Dot and Bubble. There's a
73
lucky.
yards.
Yeah, 73 yards was also amazing. Lucky
Hmm.
Day was also really good.
Hmm.
That was season two, I think. So like there were really good episodes, and I think season one is solid, even if the finale of that season kind of falls flat. Which like Russell T Davies finales always fall flat, and the fact that it's only made a bigger deal because it's only 8 episodes instead of 13. But because like the finale of series one of that is no worse than any other Russell T Davies finale that we got in the early Doctor Who era. Um, but series two I do think was kind of a step down. I think Interstellar Song Contest in particular was like just morally reprehensible and character assassination of the Doctor. Um, and there's a in like the midnight sequel episode that they did was really like the idea is not terrible. I think that episode was good, but then it became like a surprise sequel and it was not great. And then
So
the finale was
for
also
somebody that
terrible.
has, as you know, not a lot of concept of Doctor Who and
Mm-hmm.
watch this season with no knowledge of like prequel, sequel, or whatever,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it because it was the first time I had a season that did not require me to do like 15 minutes of homework to understand any
I'm
episode that I was watching.
I'm surprised you say that because that season also had like the pseudo midnight sequel, which like the big twist at the end of that episode was like, oh, it's the monster from the other episode that we had, and then
I didn't
the
even know.
finale was like it's the Ronnie, and the Ronnie is like,
Yeah, no, the
yeah.
finale I didn't understand anything. Also, the physics didn't make sense. That bothered me a lot.
I mean, that's to be fair, that's Doctor Who. The bad physics is not a problem of
But
this season. Hold
Midnight,
on.
I liked. I didn't know what the thing they were talking about at the end, but I was like, ah, it was fun.
It was a good episode. I mean, I think it just made itself worse by the comparison because Midnight, the original
Mhm.
episode that's copying, like that, it's kind of a super sequel from. It's not even copying. Is one of the best episodes of Doctor Who period in my mind. And this episode was good. It just wasn't as good as that. And I think it like
I
kind
see.
of, and I think it just was it like the monster just worked a different way too. So it was
Mhm.
like it's not even acting the same way as it did in the first one. So like, why? What does it matter that it's a sequel to it?
Me, I was like, yeah, monster.
It's like I like things that kill people. Yay!
Yeah. I was like, ooh, it's
Mhm.
behind you.
Oh God. All right. What's your last
Yeah.
story?
So we're gonna talk about Starfleet Academy, but
Yes.
it was just announced that IDW is going to release some Star Trek Academy comic book.
Hmm?
That's the word. In this spring.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy about this because I think that a lot of people consume Star Trek on TV, but there's so many more stories that are being told in audio drama. Khan was incredible.
On was fantastic.
On comic book, and novels also.
Yeah.
And I feel there's
Shout out to Una McCormick, who's my favorite Star Trek novelist, and Tilly
mine
and Susan
too.
Bridges, who are two of my friends who are writing the Star Trek Voyager Homecoming comic that's coming out right now. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
mean to cut you off. I cut you off. I was just shutting them out.
Love Una, Doctor. It was her birthday very recently.
Oh, I
Hey.
adore it. Yay.
But I'm a bit I'm not gonna say disappointed that the fandom doesn't like go towards those other media because the
Mm-hmm.
stories that are being told, well, for me, it applies to that lack of 24 episode that we had when we were younger.
Yeah.
All those side story, all those backstories, all those like exploration of character. Um, I don't know, like Starfleet Academy. I don't know what he's gonna be talking about, but if we could see one day in the academy where they just like go to class, I'll read that. I don't have. I I want to know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I read an inane number of Star Trek novels, like the one from the 80s,
Hmm?
which are very stupid, a lot of them, but I
Some
love
of them
them.
are, not all of them.
Some of them
Anyone
are
but
very good.
there's Vonda M. McIntyre, who's like very famous novelist. She wrote like this really great novel called Dream Snake that I think won the Hugo Award the year it came out. Anyway, she's a really great feminist novelist.
Mm.
She wrote like just a bunch of Star Trek novels that are like really well regarded. Diane Duane also as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there are some like there's people kind of go like, oh, tie-in novels, but like there's a really rich and important history of Star Trek
Listen,
novels.
the
Yeah.
last one I read was called The First Frontier, and it's written by actually a guy that's a very famous paleontologist, very
Yeah.
funny,
Yeah.
and it is very stupid, but it was very entertaining.
Yeah, yeah. There's one of my favorites. I think it's How Much for Just the Planet, which is like a book that's like a Star Trek musical, but it's a book. It's really bad, but it's very funny.
I
Yeah.
also read like a novella that is about Vulcan love slave.
Yep, yep, yep.
And that was really stupid too, but very entertaining. But very
Hmm.
well written. When I say stupid, it's like when I
Stupid
say
in a
stupid,
Star
I
Trek
don't
way.
say it's badly written. I mean that like the topic of the story is not like Picard doing soliloquy about like human condition. It's Quark trying to sell more porn. So
But then at the same time, there's also Star Trek novels by like Una McCormick where she's talking about like intergenerational trauma and
refugee crisis.
the lingering emotional
Mhm.
lingering emotional pain on cultures from genocides. Like
Mhm.
she's her books are really deep and really good. And then
Second
you'll get
Self
like
is
Quark is selling porn.
yeah, Second Self is one of my favorite
Oh, I
novels.
love
Like
Second
I
Self.
love Second Self. And yeah, I actually interviewed her about this book on Strange New Pod if you're
Yeah.
interested. We talked
I interviewed
only
her
about Second Self.
too. She
I'm
also
plugging.
does. Actually, funny enough, she did a Doctor Who novel as well. That was really good. That was Shurigatwa Doctor. I think she's written one for every Doctor, but she wrote one for Shurigatwa's Doctor that was rather good that I really enjoyed too. So
So yeah, more things to read. Also, making comic book costs less money than making TV,
hmm
and they're very cool people working on comic books. Very cool artists,
yep.
very cool writers.
The
So
Lower
yeah,
Decks comic is fantastic. At least the first. I think they changed writers after the first six issues, which is unfortunate because I read the first six. I haven't read the other ones yet. I'm waiting for the. I buy them in collected editions. I don't buy them week to week.
mm,
And but the first six ones of the Lower Decks comics was great, and I was so glad because I'm like it feels like, oh, I still get Lower Decks episodes, which is really kind of nice. So
yep.
yep. Anyways, with that said, let us move into our main topic of the show.
You can keep
Uh,
that sound. Pro-
I'm gonna put a graphic there, but I'll keep our voices the entire time. Anyways, that yes, this week we are well, let me just explain what the topic of the show is. Like I said earlier, every episode of our show is going to have a main topic, and we are today going to be talking about Star Trek Starfleet Academy episodes 1 through 3, which are the episodes that have been released as of this recording. But again, as I said before, we're not going to go into like, scene by scene, bit by bit, da 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 da. We're going to kind of talk more generally about the ideas in the show, different things that we like, different things that we don't like, some like broader themes that we want to kind of draw out and discuss and like get into some of those things. And you can check out some of our other works for more of the nitty gritty. And, in other weeks, I think next week we're planning on doing like a pluribus discussion. So we'll like talk about all of pluribus. We'll probably do one on a Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We'll probably come back to Starfleet Academy at different points as well, and do like batches of episodes because we're Trekkies first and forward. But just to let everyone know, that's what this is going to kind of be. So today we're going to be talking about Star Trek Starfleet Academy episodes 1 through 3, which are the pilot episode Kids These Days, episode 2, which is Beta Test, I think it
Mhm.
was, and then
Yep.
episode 3, what was that one called? I forget.
Vetus reflux,
Yes,
which
Vetus
is
Reflex.
bad Latin.
Bad Latin. Hey, it's not Star Trek if it's not bad Latin. It's
I
either.
don't agree. As a Latin teacher and a classicist, there's some good Latin in Star Trek. Not a lot. Not a lot. There's mostly bullshit
But there is
Latin,
a there
but
is a yeah.
there's
I mean,
some.
I
Star
mean,
Trek, you can hire me as a consultant. I'll be happy to check your Latin. This is what I do. If I can do it for a bunch of eighth grader, I can do it for you.
yeah. Well, I don't want to linger too much on this just to start us off with this, but like, and I've already done a video on it. We've talked about it, but like, I do want to touch briefly upon like the asshole like grifter folks who have been talking about Starfleet Academy, just because there's been an added wrinkle since, for listeners, if you don't know, I did a video essay over on my main channel that goes into all the bullshit grifter nonsense of like, it's too woke. Look, there's fat black women in Star Trek. Yeah, I hate it. I want to have my eugenics future where everyone's just, white able-bodied dudes who are duding all the time. Um, but I mentioned Stephen Miller put his fucking Nazi
Oh my
opinions
God.
into Star Trek, saying like, let's bring it back to William Shatner. Give it back to William Shatner because we
Back,
want.
he never had it.
I mean, he did with Star Trek Five, and we all know.
And we all know what happened.
I mean, you can't hate the movie where Captain Kirk makes love to a mountain. You know? Why is he climbing the mountain? I mean, to be fair, that also someone else pointed out to me that that's the movie where like the Starfleet Academy or the Starfleet characters are like having a bro out, like, cookout together, and then get in a ship and then go tell God that he's wrong, which feels like also the thing that these conservative assholes would not like. And also William Shatner is like a immigrant Canadian Jewish man, like,
Who's also
like
90 something
yeah,
and wants
whatever.
nothing to do with Star Trek.
Yeah, but did you see that he had a response that was like weirdly incoherent? That I was like, William
No, I
Shatner.
didn't see that. Why do you need to tell me
I
that?
just need to because it's funny. It's funny because Nazis are idiots and William Shatner is weird. It's just like it's a weird thing. Let's see, what did he say? He said I had it pulled up and then I lost it. It was so this is William Shatner's response to Stephen Miller, or perhaps more accurately, William Shatner's like
PR,
social
like
media
or like
social media
social media
manager.
manager.
Yeah. He has a lot of emojis in this, so just know there's a lot of emojis. I am so on the same page with you, Stephen Miller. The fact that they have not cured hyperopia, which I think is like needing glasses essentially, by the 32nd century is an abysmal oversight by the writers. Also, Paramount Plus needs to up the budget because I'm sure that a well-oiled organization like Starfleet in the distant future could afford more than one pair of glasses for at least this hyperopic bridge crew. Do they pass the glasses around while piloting the ship? Shame on the line producers. That is what you meant, right? I am ready to assume command of the series. Call me. And also, keep in mind, there's like 50 different emojis in there.
I am I didn't want
I
to know
know,
that.
I
Now
don't
I'm
know,
more confused than anything else.
I know. It's so weird. I'm just like, what fucking world are we living in, man? It's so weird. It's so
I
dumb.
I'm gonna say here that I wear a lot of glasses
Yeah,
and I need glasses. I can see
yeah. I
anything.
can't see
But
shit.
90% of the glasses I wear are not corrective glasses. I just wear them because they look cool.
I like the look of glasses. Like I wear glasses for my videos, and I only wear I have contacts, and I only wear them if I'm like doing cosplay that requires it. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's whatever.
But also like let people do whatever they want. Also, I feel I keep saying that as a person who reviews Star Trek every week.
Hmm.
Um it's not true. I'm really
Hmm.
sorry to break that to everyone, but it's not true. It's a made up show by nowadays people.
Hmm.
Uh,
It is
we
it is
don't
a sh-
know.
it is a show that is meant to be a reflection of what we think today a
Now,
better future
yeah.
will be based on where we're at now, but it's always going to be informed by the issues that we're talking about
And
today.
I also love the fact that like and I think it's maybe very American, maybe correct me on this, but this idea that medicine is kind of a blanket thing. Like
Hmm.
if you can like cure one person, you can cure everybody
Oh,
because
yeah,
we
yeah.
all have the same body. And the
Yes.
concept that maybe there are some species or some people or some bodies on which you cannot fix
Yeah.
eyesight is a foreign concept. And also,
No.
who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
I mean, it's a eugenics concept,
Yeah.
right? Where it's just like
Mhm.
it's like there's like one single ideal able-bodied white dude out that exists, and like everything that is good for him is good for everybody. and
Okay.
everyone must be forced to fit that mold. And so like if it's all that sort of eugenicsy nonsense. So yeah, it's a very like we can, and also the idea of curing fatness and curing a type of people and curing glasses, like it's all eugenics fascist nonsense bullshit.
What fascinates me it's how none of these people have watched it.
Oh yeah, no, of course not,
And
of course not.
and there's like as much as like a lot of people are able to go. So you saw I did a cosplay about the Charon, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
Charon.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And everybody was like, well, they're instinct. Don't you know they're instinct? And I'm like, I'll show you how extinct I am. Come. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's fake people. It's the fake story. We like I can still do it even if
Mhm.
in the
Yeah,
story. Like, what is the point? But then, those like concepts can go like through the window when they're like, oh, this is a fat woman. Well, it's a Jem'Hadar Klingon. They're pretty bony,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and there's like this double standard that I know I don't argue with people online because I mean, I know that most of those comments, and you and me, we get so many of those comments, are bad faith. It's just
Oh
like
yeah.
trying to get you riled up about something that, like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't know
Mm,
you. Who are you?
yeah.
Like, but the thing that is troubling to me, I mean, troubling, is more I posted anything I post with Carrie's Brooks, for example, get a bunch of asshole answers, of asshole comments, commenting
Mhm.
on their physics, on how they speak. And I'm just like, this is what it is to be a black body out there. And I mean, I'm light skinned and people
Mhm.
I'm also racially ambiguous. And people don't really know what I am. It's like
You
they
need to
they
fit
just
into a bucket, Giraffe.
they
You
get the
need to.
chart with all the colors, and they're like,
Yeah, yeah. Which one are
Hawaii?
you? Yeah. You need to be in a bucket. If you're not in a
So,
bucket, then
so it's more for me very representative of the state of internet. And I'm not gonna say the fandom because everybody's always like, oh, the fans. Like, those people are not fan. I've never seen them in the fandom.
no,
I've
they don't
never
go to
seen them
conventions,
comment
and if
on
they
anything.
do, they get ostracized. People are like those are assholes.
They just come in like from the woods or God knows where they leave
Mhm.
the cave. I don't know where those people exist. And they come and they and I'm like, who are you? Who even are you? So I have a little bit of a problem when people are like, oh, Star Trek fandom. I was like, those people are not fan. Nobody knows them.
No.
Nobody have seen them in convention. Nobody have seen them interact on podcasts. They come with like these weird names with a bunch of letters and numbers and like comment like some asshole
Yeah.
thing. And I feel it's more representative of, well, mostly probably be bots. So
Oh yeah.
somebody
Most bots, a
buying these
bot, or yeah.
bots, to
Mhm.
do this. And like a campaign to just like make everybody feel gross about like you can have fun.
Yeah, yeah, they want to
But
create an air of this thing is shit. You can't, if you like it, you're done. Yeah, they just want to curtail any sense of joy and earnestness.
mhm.
I'm doing a video right now about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and my big point in it is that it's a show that feels very like a lot of people read an opening moment of the show without spoiling as a cynical moment, and it's like no, the show is being very earnest in that moment, and we've come to train ourselves to expect cynicism out of everything, and we can't enjoy anything earnestly. We always have to be aware of the agenda, or aware of like some hating of fans or some antagonism with the work, and nothing
Mhm.
can be really earnest at any
Mhm.
point. And I think that goes towards like the larger fascist project of like nothing has meaning, nothing matters, there's no depth beyond the aesthetic, and if we hate the aesthetic then it doesn't mean anything, and art is only good if it is self-evident. If what we get from it is very self-evident, we can't have a deeper discussion about things, which
And this is what you get for defunding education. She's Reagan.
yep, yep, yep. Um, but let us act. I didn't mean to get into a whole
We
conversation
started
about that.
uh we
I did.
started
Well,
hot.
I wanted to start with that because the William Shatner aspect of it I hadn't addressed anywhere. And I thought it was odd. It was very odd, and I wanted to talk about it. But yes, worth saying all that stuff. But let us talk earnestly about it. Star Trek: Starfleet Academy, first 3 episodes. What do you feel about the show so far?
Okay, so I wanted to love it
Mm-hmm.
because there was a lot of stakes for
Mm-hmm.
me to love that show. It's a woman made show. It's a
Mm-hmm.
people of color are like part of the production team, of the writing team. The casts, seeing like young black people like in Star Trek, very new, let's be honest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Quite new,
yeah.
especially black women. Um, and I love it. And I'm very happy that I love it because I was a bit anxious, after like the few years we got.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's a show I went in being, no, it's gonna be great. I know it's gonna be great. I've like happened to everybody. I was like, if you're not great, we're gonna have a problem, Star Trek. But I loved, and that's what you were saying, how
Mm-hmm.
earnest it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Especially episode
also,
three is so damn earnest. Yeah, you like.
yeah, and I like the fact that people can't read the show and don't know what this show is about. We get a lot of people who's like, well, I was very afraid of teen drama. I was like, why were you afraid of teen drama?
Yeah.
Like, what makes you afraid
They're not,
of
yeah, afraid is, it's because they're worried the thing is not for them. That's what they're afraid of. Like, oh, this thing isn't targeted at me. It's like, I'm not afraid of teen drama. I'm like, maybe it won't be for me because it will be teen drama, but I'm not afraid of it. It's just, maybe it just won't be for me.
I mean, we
And
all watched teen drama and we all enjoyed it
I
when
mean,
we were.
I was on the Tumblr days. I've watched every fucking Arrowverse show. I've seen the CW shit. I watched Buffy. Yeah, you know.
Thank you. I was
Yeah.
like, why are we afraid of teen drama suddenly when we watch TLC? Please.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like,
Because it's a
stop.
franchise that wasn't originally aimed at them, like at
Um,
teens, and so it's like it's a grievance.
but
Anyways, that's a whole other thing.
there's
We
a
could move.
thing that for me is very interesting, and because again, like it's a school, and I
Mm-hmm.
really like the depiction of the school that we
Mm-hmm.
get,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that they managed very well to. For me, there's two good show about schools. Starfleet Academy gets the feeling of the school right,
Mm-hmm.
and Abbott Elementary is my other show. It's
Yeah. Oh,
that
Abbott Elementary is
constant,
so.
you know, middle that you're like kind of line that you're walking between being in an environment with a bunch of people that are way younger than you and that want to have fun because that's what kids do, and
Mm-hmm.
cultivating this unseriousness and when I say unserious, I say like playfulness and something that makes you want to learn and be safe and be happy because that's how you learn best.
Mm-hmm.
um this feeling of protection, of having kind of a sandbox where you can
Mm-hmm.
experiment life inside of safe walls, but also having this honesty towards the student to talk to them about the world, how it is. And now I don't know how it's going to be in the future for them, but and also having a place where, well, the bullshit of the outside world kind of bleeds in through
Mm-hmm.
parents, through you, from happenstance, through, crazy people, from anything. And I feel Starfleet Academy is managing very well to have this playfulness with learning.
Yes.
These this is a schools are fun places.
Yes.
Schools are places where you laugh, where you enjoy things, where you share what you learn. And when a kid is like, today they were fighting about a book with dinosaurs, which happened quite. And they're like, "Do you know about this?" And I do know about this. But I'm like, "Oh my
Oh my
God,
God.
tell me
Yeah.
more."
Yes.
And I feel Starfleet Academy is very good at having these like the adults, in the room that are like, "Oh my God, I've done that 17,000 times," but also your joy here feeds me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why when people are like, I'm afraid of teen drama, like I love teens are so fun. They're a
Well,
pain in the butt,
I
but
think
they're
if we're
super fun.
if I'm gonna take that at face value, right? The fear of teen drama, like there's the whole like it's not for me. But I think the other thing is like teen drama can sometimes feel like cheap and like, oh, I'm not dating this person. It like gets into that sort of like tropey territory that I think sometimes people worry about it. And I think that's some people can enjoy that, and I'm not gonna knock it. But I think what this show is capturing, and I think you're getting at that I also really love, is like it's a show that is about showing how these kids navigate learning and finding joy in learning, and how the adult characters in the show are like trying to like turn that into what like teach these kids what Starfleet is, and by vicariously what Star Trek is. And what I really love in the third episode, and the third episode was the one because I remember I was texting you
Hmm.
when I was like watching the premiere episodes on our screeners that we got, and I was like, yeah, it's all right, it's fine, I enjoyed it. Like I was much more nervous about the show because of like Strange New World season 3 and Section 31. I was like, I don't know, I'm really nervous about this one. Um, and I could just see it being like my big worry was that like maybe it'd even be a good show, but like it just was kind of like just doing an aesthetic of Star Trek without getting
Hmm.
what I personally love about Star Trek. And what I really love is in the third episode. It's a silly episode. We have them like at one point the Betazoid brother kid who's like in the Mugatu costume, which is like I love how earnest again that kid is such a
Isn't it a
dork.
lapling?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he was in the Lapling, not the
He's
Mugatu
the
costume. Yeah,
lapling,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The Mugatu costume, I was like, or the Lapling costume. I just like, I love how weird. He's such a weirdo dork, and he's me. I was that kid in school, but but it goes through this whole thing of like, oh, we're gonna fight the war college, and is this rivalry prank war thing. And at the end, we get this reveal that Aka,
Ah,
she, yeah,
Nala Ake, Ake.
Eke. Yeah, because I think some characters say it slightly different, but Ake. She Holly Hunter. She reveals that like the whole point of what she was trying to teach them was not to like don't do pranks. We're gonna come down on you hard. Like have the play and like do this thing, but like directing it towards learning how to end fights, learning how to like put a stop to something on your terms, not to not push back, not to say, oh, we're pacifists, we don't punch back, we don't punch, we don't fight back and defend
Mhm.
ourselves, but we're not here to try to get back or get revenge, but to end the fight in a way that is going to be like safe and best and like preserve the most like everyone's health, right? And
And
I
also funny.
and also funny and also very funny that like the heist thing at the end was great. Like
Mhm.
it's an episode that is earnest and dorky and silly and dumb in some ways as we were talking about before, but it has that moment of like turning towards like the Star Trek ideals of it. And it reminded me of a moment in Lower Decks that like sold me on Lower Decks when I was first watching it, because I was watching Lower Decks and like this is funny, but it's like is it just a Rick and Morty comedy with a Star Trek aesthetic?
Yeah.
And in episode 2 there's that moment where like they have the joke about, oh, the Ferengi's greedy, and like Jack Quaid Boimler has the whole moment of like, oh, look, it's a
Yeah.
Ferengi. I know we can't trust him because he's a Ferengi. I was
Mhm.
like, oh,
Human.
yeah, who? And it was just funny, but then I'm like, okay, so it's just kind of making fun of the like stereotype of like
Mhm.
our memory of Star Trek of like, oh, Ferengi are like this. But then the episode ends with the reveal that like Mariner hired that guy as a friend of hers to do this thing, and he's actually just a very sweet, kind of fun guy, still a Ferengi and still has like Ferengi culture, but he's just a fun guy. And I'm like, oh, this show understands Star Trek. It understands the nuances of it.
Mhm.
Um, and and like this episode 3 really got that for me. And the thing that like made me go back and look at how the earlier episodes reframed it, are starting to frame the show, and I can kind of start seeing the arc in the first 3 episodes, is this very much is a show that is trying to say like, so much it is so easy for people to look at Starfleet and the Federation and be like, oh, it's good because it's the Federation. It has a progressive legacy. It's good just by virtue of it, of what it is. And by
Mhm.
setting the show after the burn and saying, no, the Federation failed, there's that line that Aka has, Aka, whatever, Holly Hunter has, where she says,
Nala.
the students are the youth are ambassadors to now.
Mhm.
They're we need to look to them to see what the institution needs to become. It's not the institution, not Starfleet saying we're good, and because we're good you need to fit it, which Strange New Worlds kind of did in one of its episodes in season 3, the documentary episode.
Yeah.
um but is it saying, it's saying Starfleet can direct these kids, and it has these values that it wants to impart to them, but it's also going to shift itself to be what these kids need it to be for them to learn those values and how to grow to be better people instead of pressing them into a mold. And I really loved that.
And I think what this show really gets,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they have as consultant, if they have any consultant on education. Honestly,
Yeah.
um, because I train many teachers. I've trained
Mm-hmm.
many teachers in my life, and the thing that I'm always trying to make people understand is that you are not teaching kids to live in the world of now.
Mm-hmm.
You are giving them tools so they can become whoever they want and do whatever they want successfully in a world that you have no clue what that world is going to be. So the goal is not for them to know how to use AI now, because
Hmm.
when they're going to be our age,
It
they're
will be
gonna
something
have
else. Yeah.
this is gonna be something else. I mean, I'm old. I was educated like in the 80s.
Yeah. No, I remember like when I was growing up in the 90s, like teachers were not teaching me like because the big thing was Wikipedia and like the internet. And there's like we're not going to teach you. We'll teach you how to use the internet and da 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 da. But like we're going to teach you how to actually do references and sources and research, like what that means, which applies to AI today. Like kids don't know that AI comes up with fucking sources all the time. It makes up shit.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it just made me think of that. Like I now have the tools so that like I know when I look at AI, I'm like, no, this is bad research because I learned it way back when. You know what I
But
mean?
also the cultivating curiosity is
Mm-hmm.
something that the show like really like Nalaake could have just told
Told
them
him. Yeah.
what the solution would be. I
Mm-hmm.
would do that. But what's the fun in that? There's no fun in that. As an educator, it's not fun to give them the answer. The answer, the fun is to see them figure it out, right? And the thing that I really like is how happy she is when they come up and then they realize that she'd been like angling them towards that answer since the first scene, and
Mm-hmm.
she lost and they're like, oh my god, you did that. And it's also showing that her life as an educator also is getting inspiration as her as a student, and
Mm-hmm.
that's something that's always very important. Like, remember when you were that age, like, you were dumb. Do not ever forget that, and that's that line of the doctor when he's like, the memories of your teenager will come haunt you and wake you up screaming or something like this.
Yeah.
And that cracks me up because, again, like, everybody's doing the 6-7 right now,
Yeah.
and I let one of my class do their graduation picture doing 6-7, and everybody's like, why are you letting them do that? Because I'm like, and I told
So.
them all, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
in 15 years, when your mother is gonna bust your graduation picture to your future partner, you will cringe and you will remember me and I will live in your dreams. And they're
It's
like, no. I'm like, oh
smart.
yeah, oh
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, oh yeah.
100%. 100%. 100%. Um, can I also say, and like, I love Holly Hunter so much in this. So like that moment when you said she's so happy, I love her like acting choice where she like hits the table. She's like so excited that moment, or the way she sits in chairs,
Yeah.
and and she has this like irreverence for for certain like the pomp and circumstance and like the sense of oh what am I work the grandeur of it. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't stand on like the institution of like again it's sort of like representative of that whole idea of she doesn't believe the institution like is good on its own auspices. Like she fits herself how she's comfortable in something, and that like fits like how she sits in a chair. Like she doesn't necessarily fully fit the ideal of like buff white dude who's supposed to be the captain who's supposed to fit the chair. Like no, she adjusts the chair to her height. She sits in it how she wants. She walks around without shoes. And it reminds me, this is me going to be over intellectualizing because I overdo that. But there's this wonderful
Never.
philosopher called Sarah Ahmed. She's a queer philosopher, and she has this idea of queer use and how queer people in a like larger sense than just LGBTQ folks, but like people who are outside the norm, who don't fit or are sort of seen as maybe that aren't the ones that are made the institution is made for and don't fit into any slots. Um, they find new ways to use things, and by doing that they make them more lively, they make them newer, they refresh them, they find new ways to help those things grow. And that's sort of both how she uses things like chairs, which also is a very bisexual thing. She's pulling the Riker bisexual
I
move of sitting
think
in chairs, but like it's symbolic in a way of kind of like her her view of Starfleet and like revitalizing Starfleet and coming up with new ways to see it, which I really really like.
I think it's also a very middle-aged woman thing.
Yes, and also
Like,
and also like quirky academic thing. Like
I realize, like, when I see her use the space, I'm like, oh my god, this is this is me. This
yeah,
is what
yeah.
I do. I mean, the first thing I do when I enter my office is I take off my shoes under my desk, and
Hmm.
all the time when there's an emergency, I'm like, "Oh, my shoes."
Yeah, no, I do the same thing. Yeah.
So I feel also that there is a moment, very often people say like the more you get, the older you get, the less fuck you give. But I
Mm.
don't think it's a question of giving less fuck. I think it's a question of prioritizing what is really important
Yes.
and what is not. And I feel
It's
that
not that I think she doesn't give a fuck. It's just that she makes herself comfortable in there. Yeah.
the way you sit in the chair
Yeah.
is nobody's goddamn business. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, you're doing your thing. It is your
But
chair,
Stephen Miller has an opinion on it.
You know
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm gonna again and again, and like you enter
Mhm.
a room as a woman, especially a woman in
Oh,
leadership,
yes, yeah, yeah.
and you enter a room as a woman in leadership, you have to justify yourself that you're a woman in leadership. And if you're a
Hmm.
black woman in leadership, you have to double justify yourself that you're a woman in leadership. Yeah, like very often people go and ask, you know, uh, my employee, like if he's the boss, and I'm like, I'm I'm the person in
Hmm.
charge here.
Hmm.
And the
Oh,
thing is that I realized at one point that I could be the best looking, the best sitting, the best, like, people still don't see me as a leadership figure. So I can sit however I am. I'm still the one calling the shots, and I think for me it was refreshing to have a figure of leadership, figure in charge that is not abiding to everybody's vision of how she should act.
yeah.
I'm a
It,
bit disappointed that they made her 422 years old and like be like, oh, she's so old, she can do whatever. She can do that at 52.
yeah, no, yeah, it's true. But I think it's like a Star Trek way to kind of say that thing, and it
Yeah.
also allows her to have like a sense of like history of like the sense of where Starfleet has been and everything like that. Um, but yes, I mean like it's the same thing. Like I'm gonna anonymize this, Giraffe. You know the exact thing I'm talking about. But like I've had directing experiences where I've come onto a set
Mhm.
and know that there were other things done by male directors with the same crew and same people in charge of me and change the producers in charge with male directors who were not questioned. Then instantaneously I come on and I'm questioned on everything,
Yeah.
every fucking choice, to the point of like little B-roll shots that I get I'm
Mhm.
told to redo because I it doesn't look right. And it
Mhm.
was one of the most, you know, my story on this one, but it's
Yep.
one of the most frustrating fucking things. And I had the producer on that project literally tell me like, oh, unironically, oh, I think the two worst episodes that we've done are the two directed by women, meaning me in another episode that was worked on. And I'm like, no sense of self awareness of why that might be, because maybe we were the ones fucking second guessed every fucking time. But yeah, it's that what I say all that because like I see that, and what I love about this show is she comes on into this and she just owns it, and no one questions her, and that to me is Star Trek. Of like
Yeah.
we're gonna be dealing with other like, and we'll start to see this in other episodes you and I have seen ahead of like the social issues that still fit within the Star Trek future that
Yep.
are metaphorical to things that are happening today, but in terms of the literal ways things that we see today, like queer people or women in charge or black women in charge, like
Mhm.
those aren't issues anymore. We'll deal with things that are metaphorical versions of those things, but
Yeah.
that itself is not a problem. And so she just comes in and like she sits weird, she sits in ways that are different,
She
and no
goes
one has.
bare feet
She
everywhere.
goes bare feet and no one has a problem with it. Vance seems to
Well,
be into it, you know.
that mural is into
Yeah, dude, really into
feeding
it. Yeah,
is the little piggies, but
yeah.
you see that Kelric.
Vance has like a foot fetish, some sort of things. Like, yeah.
But
Oh, Jesus
Kelric,
Christ. Yeah.
the chancellor of the War College,
I was gonna get to this. Yes, yes,
has a
yes.
problem with it. He
Yes.
doesn't like it, but he turns it into, you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna, like, and
Mm-hmm.
he very like he's taken like aback by it, but he doesn't tell her not to. He doesn't also, I don't think he judges her on this. He's just confused by the whole character. That's how I read him. And
Yes,
he's like,
yes.
I'm gonna take
I think he
feedback.
does. I think he does judge her, but this is something that I really liked about this choice, about the fact that they have Starfleet and they have the War College, because they
Hmm.
have start. This has been a long running conversation about how military is Starfleet, and I like this choice to have this contrast to be like, this is what Starfleet is, and yes, it has some level of military decorum,
Hmm.
but it is not but it is not like a military in the sense of like we follow that strict hierarchy. Everyone is slotted into the roles you have to follow later, because that's been a constant criticism of even going back to like TNG days of like, oh, they talk back to Picard and no one would really like allow that. And I'm like, no, like Starfleet is a place where we're supposed to be able to take ideas. Like, yes, there's a captain who's like navigating it,
Yeah.
but he's not like a Jellicoe. And the problem with Jellicoe, like Jellicoe's a perfect military commander, but he's like, you do these things on this time, and he's not like actually listening and creating that conversation that Picard was so good at
True.
navigating, and other captains were so good at navigating. And I like having this contrast with Kelrick of like the War College is this thing that is like trying to like fits these characters into these roles. And there are some characters like we see with the Betazoid character. She wants that sense of like, like I want to just fit. I want to like have this more regimented life,
Mm-hmm.
because that kind of fits what I need in the structure that I need. But it is not what Starfleet is by contrast, and I really really like that idea. I think my only negative with it is just kind of a more overriding sense of like, the like normalization of a military aspect of something, in things. It kind of gets into my like anti-militarist stuff. I get it, like the universe is dangerous and we need to have some level of military, but it also is like, the military is just a thing. I as a institution that exists, I disagree with very heavily. So yeah.
I think I read it more in the idea that, well, Earth had the War College and not United
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah, it had
War
work.
College
They,
and
I
not
think they say
Starfleet
that. Yeah,
Academy.
yeah.
And it's a little bit more the Federation. Like I like the new Federation that we see
Mm-hmm.
in Starfleet Academy. Like they don't come and be, oh, you're gonna close that because
Mm-hmm.
now this thing here is what we're back at it. Like, forget what you've been doing for 120 years. Forget that you've had to fend for yourself by yourself. And we are taking into account your history, your culture, and what you've gone through and what is
Mm-hmm.
has happened on Earth. And I think it places Starfleet not as an Earth-centric thing.
Which comes up in, I was going to say, comes up in episode 2 with the Betazoids, because they
Yeah.
kind of do the same thing with the conversation with the Betazoid president
Hmm.
of like, we respect that you've had like this wall, and we want to kind of bring down the wall literally,
Hmm.
but we're navigating how to do that. And I love the choice to put Starfleet headquarters on, or
Federation.
Federation, make the Federation capital the on Beta Z, because then it's not only like assigned to the Betazoids of like, oh, we're
Hmm.
changing and things are different now, but also like it's not Earth centric. It kind of takes down that big critique that Deep Space Nine had, which was like
Hmm.
Earth gets to be a paradise and everyone else kind of, maybe will do better or not, but like, there's the inner core worlds that sort of get everything, and then out in the fringes by Deep Space Nine they don't get as much, and yet they say
Hmm.
that we're a utopia. And I think that this kind of decouples that a little bit with this here, and I like that getting
I
addressed.
think it makes it less imperialistic.
Yes, yes, very much
and
so, yes,
and
which
but
was Deep Space Nine's big criticism of
but
Starfleet.
I like the fact that they're not negating that, being like Starfleet was never the Federation was never imperialistic. Like you see
Mm-hmm.
the kids are like, oh my God, we're gonna go to Earth. Like it's like going to Rome, like it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
the center of the empire, or like coming to the US in the 90s, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
so I like the fact that for those kids that grew up out of the Federation and in a work that was like fucked up, they're still like those like, ooh, the Federation was Earth centric. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is the core of the Federation. And I like the fact that Starfleet Academy is trying to like deconstruct that by
Mm-hmm.
being, we're leaving the War College, where on other thing you have your own thing, yeah, like Earth thing, and then there's the Federation thing. The Federation headquarters can be, a capital can be in on different planets. I would like to have it like move around. That would be fun.
No, it would be fun. That would be fun. Like
Yeah,
every season, we get like they're on Beta Z on another season, or
yeah.
which they set up with the fact that it's a ship, so they could theoretically do that.
But I like the fact that they're like, we're definitely seeing a generation that grew up in a different world. stepping in a world that we know because we grew up on Star Trek, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that they don't know and they have to reinvent, reimagine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very interesting because I think it's also a message to us. Like,
Oh yeah.
we've never lived in utopia, right? We never
No.
lived in, but
No.
with the image that we have of it, we can definitely take the step to try to, reimagine what it could be for us and how we could go there. And it all starts with education. So I'm here for it. I
Yeah.
really like.
And what I love most about the show, kind of giving some wrap out thoughts on this conversation, like I do think that this show is it meets the moment. I think in a way
Yes.
that like Deep Space like it feels like this show meets the moment of where we're at right now of like being hopeful and yet not being hopeful in an uncritical way. And showing like this is where we should the type of conversations and where we should be going, but we have to acknowledge the harm caused. Because right now we're living in a lot of fascism, but it's the fascism that we live under is an outgrowth of everything that America has done and a lot of Western countries have done for so long to other countries. It's just now brought home, and we're seeing its effects here. But this is the fruits of so many things
And
being
and
born out.
Nala Ake is going through that.
Yes,
She bears a part of responsibility
yes,
in
exactly.
the wrong that the Federation was doing. And she does not forget, she does not blame, she doesn't try to say that it didn't happen. She makes amends and she
Mm-hmm.
works on the people around her, but also on herself, on like
Mm-hmm.
what it means to have been part of a problematic system, has enforced that
The
problematic
problematic
system
system, literally in her first scene. Yeah.
in the end, now what it means for her and how do you move on from that. And I think that show is doing a good job at like studying these through a character that is better than every one of us.
Yeah. Well, that's what Star Trek. That's what again. That's what Star Trek has always been to me. And we said this at the top. It's like it's a show that is looking at the problems now and saying, how do we address this if we chose to be our best selves?
Hmm.
If we were our best selves at all times and had the ability to be our best selves at all times, what would we choose to do with the problems that we have now? And
Yeah.
not saying we're a utopia and we can kind of come down from on high and like to be play God like sometimes TNG would do to other planets of like we're or TOS would come and be like we know better, we solved your problems.
Oh, Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds.
Episode
Um,
one, season
I mean,
one.
it is so interesting to me that Star Trek has kind of taken us like in each era, it's kind of taken a very similar trajectory. With like TNG to Deep Space Nine, this very much feels like Strange New Worlds to to this, and Discovery was kind of a little bit of both at certain points. So like it's an interesting sort of continual cycle for Star Trek,
Mhm.
and I think that this is a show that is not redoing something like Deep Space Nine, but I think is very much kind of doing playing a similar role within the franchise at this moment and within our culture at this moment, that Deep Space Nine did.
Absolutely.
And we talked about the Stephen Miller. I think it is very interesting that we see people like Elon Musk literally going out and say we want to make Starfleet Academy real, and yet we'll attack this Academy show.
But not like that.
But not like that. But not like that. No, exactly. Because they want their fascist version of Star Trek, where they get to be the great men who get to dictate what everyone else decides, to
Mhm.
show up at all their other planets, to show up at all the places run with black people or people with weird alien nose ridges. Whichever one,
Or
same
both.
thing, or both. And tell them what to do. And and this show is very much like, no, we need to humble ourselves and figure out how we can build the future for those who are want to build it, who are going to be building it.
Yeah, and I
So
think
yeah.
I think the DS9 parallel is very right. All those people were like, I thought I was not gonna like it, and I actually really like it.
Mhm.
And it's giving the same feeling of people like, well, I don't want to show on the space station. Well, I don't want to show school. Well, I don't want to like. Who's that guy? Like, why is he so pissed at Picard? I don't like him. And then like, why is this woman walking barefoot? And then, but people are watching.
Yeah, yeah.
So. Yeah.
It's the thing with Deep Space Nine. I'm sure 20, 30 years from now we'll get a documentary about this show or this era of Starfleet or Star Trek, and we'll get that same opening of the Deep Space Nine show where if anyone's seen the Deep Space Nine documentary, What We Left Behind, they open it with them reading the hate mail that they got on the show, and I feel like you could do the same thing. You could do the same thing, just
Gina
get a
Yashiri has
slightly, yeah.
already started
Yeah,
reading
Junior
the
Yashiri just like reading 30 years from now, just reading the fucking tweets that they fucking get. Yeah, and by the way, we haven't talked about her. Junior Yashiri, MVP of this fucking show. In a show with a
incredible.
lot of MVPs, like so many of the actors are really great. She
The
is fucking
casting,
amazing.
the casting is on point.
Amazing. But I was
On
like,
point.
yes, death has eyes. I love that line. It's so good.
I can always spot a runner.
Yeah. um, Last thing, and do you have anything that you want to say that we didn't touch upon before we wrap
Too
out?
many, but I'm gonna talk about each episode for 2 hours, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good.
Yeah, we could do it forever. Well, then that will wrap us out on our topic of the show. Listeners, we will come back on the podcast in probably a month's time. So next week we'll talk about something else, probably Pluribus, unless something else comes up that we want to talk about. But in a month's time, we'll come back and talk about the next batch of episodes from the show. So we will return to Starfleet Academy on the show at some point.
We will be
Um,
back.
with that said, the last segment of this, I think I told you this, but I don't know if I warned you. I want to do one last segment where it's just quick recommendations for something to read, watch, listen to, whatever that just listeners should watch that we don't have a lot of time to talk about, but just a recommendation. I'll start us off because I know you might not have prepped it. I might do a video on it at some point, but I've been reading the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and it is so good. I love it. I did not expect to like it. I thought it was going to be very dude broy. I thought it was going to be like Ready Player One, where it's like a book that is um full of just like references and like, look, we made this reference. Look, we made this reference. But and I'll do a whole video discussing it at some point. But it's just so funny. It's so earnest. It's very anarchistic. It like jokes like, haha, anarchism is dumb. All right, actually though, like there's a whole part of the book where he like reads an anarchist manifesto. It's like, oh yeah, no, this actually has some really good points. But it's also so sweet in a very earnest way. And its politics are fucking on point too. The first bad guy, the first book was written I think in like 2001 or 2021, not 2001, 2021. So before this current moment. But the first bad guy they come across, who's like murdering other dungeon crawlers, in it, the book describes as, oh, I think he's like an ICE agent, and I'm like, ah, got it right immediately. So highly recommend the book series. For the quick pitch of the series, I should have started with that. Is that this is a future where not a future, it's today, where aliens come, kill basically everyone on Earth for the most part, and the people who survived are forced into a dungeon underground that like they have to go through different levels, and each level has its own theme or whatever, but it's like a literal D&D dungeon, and they have to sort of fight their way through to be able to like reclaim Earth. And it's basically this. It's a game show that they're going through, and it's run by a corporation that is a cheapskate corporation because they're all like, we have to run this fucking reality show and it'll make us some money, but we don't have a lot of money right now. We're kind of running out of budget, so like we'll try and do it on the cheap. And then the main character is just Carl, who's like a dude broy kind of guy, but actually has a lot of heart to him. And also his cat, who becomes sentient, and she is like the sweetest, nails a cat energy. Like she loves Gossip Girl, but the book never makes fun of her for liking Gossip Girl. It's just like she just loves Gossip Girl, and she's just like, I also love murdering people with my magic missile. Like she's great. So the book series is great. I'll talk about it more in a video, but Dungeon Crawler Carl, you should read it.
Yeah, I've tried to borrow it at the library, and there is 10 weeks of
Mm-hmm.
wait for, so
They're
I'm on
popular
hold.
for good reason. They're very good. So.
Um, well, I'm not reading anything of notes right now, but I have to say that I have started watching the new Dimension 20 campaign on Dropout,
Yes.
which is cool. I was like, what am I watching that I'm really enjoying right now? I'm not necessarily enjoying Drag Race right now.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
watching, but I'm really enjoying that new Dimension 20 season. Is called Into the Gladlands,
Mm.
and the dungeon master is Brennan Lee Munnigan. And
We
what I
stand.
really
We
like
love
is
him.
that it's Mad Max, but the premise is that basically it's post-apocalyptic world, so Mad Max, but they go through the idea that okay, there was Mad Max, there was all this, people were being dicks, but you know what? People can organize and people actually want to live peaceful lives. And
Hmm.
so there's a bunch of people that just like, recreated like kind of a society and they're not dicks to each other. And it's called Into the Gladlands. And the first thing that they're doing, just not to spoil, they have to deliver letters to all the people who have donated blood
Ah,
to thank them because when you thank people who donate blood, they donate
they
again.
did again.
And so
But
it's like
it's
Mad Max. It's like "Rah!" in the desert, but that's what they're doing. And you know what?
that's really sweet.
It's healing myself. And watch Dropout. If you have extra money, give them money. It's a great like TV
Oh yeah, Dropout is I adore
TV
Drop.
streamer.
I
Like
watched
yeah.
Make Some Noise. I Game Changer and
The new season of actually just
actually
started. The first episode is literally four black men nerding out about anime, and also that healed my soul a little bit. So
hell yeah.
give them
Yeah.
a watch. If in what
Uh
way. Yeah.
well, that is everything for this podcast. Giraffe, where can people find you if they want to look you up after this?
You can find me on Blue Sky, Spotted Giraffe, dot blue sky dot something. I don't know, it's very long.
It's probably
And
close.
on Instagram, lyrical_giraffe. I'm also live every Thursday. Right now, we are recording on Starfleet Academy with Strange New Pod on YouTube every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Hell yeah. And you can find me at Jesse Gender on YouTube, where I do my big video essays. I also have my secondary channel called Jesse Gender After Dark, where this podcast will also live on its video form, as well as you'll find my reviews of Star Trek Starfleet Academy. I'm on Blue Sky and Instagram as Jesse Gender. I'm also on Nebula, which is the streaming service that houses my movie Identities, as well as the upcoming show Subliminal that I directed an episode of that'll be coming out sometime later this year. And also, I have a Patreon that helps pay my bills, so you can support me there. That is everything. And with that, I hope you all, my friends, live long and prosper.